Wait, did you see that? He's fighting them all alone, without armor, without backup.
Who is this human?
The desert of Kulveth stretched endlessly beneath a twin-sun sky, burning orange and gold like a world permanently on fire. The ancient fortress of Aethros stood at the edge of a great canyon, its pale stone walls carved by civilizations long forgotten. It was here, on a carved balcony overlooking the battlefield below, that Princess Vaela of the Tharen Empire stood, still as a statue, her pale blue skin catching the light of both suns. Her black and gold armor gleamed. The geometric patterns etched into the breastplate told of a bloodline older than most star systems. Her silver-white locks fell over her shoulders like a crown of moonlight, and the golden diadem resting on her head marked her as more than royalty. It marked her as a warlord queen in waiting. She was not supposed to be here. Her generals had told her this battlefield was too dangerous. Her royal guards, 10 of the most lethal warriors the Tharen Empire had ever produced, had formed a wall around her. They had argued. They had pleaded. She had ignored them all. "My Lord Carix," she said softly to the guard at her left, "tell me what you see down there." Carix, a towering figure in chrome plating, leaned slightly over the railing. His eyes, designed for long-range optical scanning, swept the battlefield below. Hundreds of Drevok raiders, savage mercenaries hired to breach Aethros, were swarming the canyon floor. They came in waves, armed with plasma blades and kinetic shields. Their strategy was simple: overwhelm, crush, and burn everything that stood in their path. But something was wrong with their strategy today. "There is a human," Carix said, his voice uncertain. In the center of the canyon. Vaela's green eyes narrowed. She stepped closer to the railing, her gloved hand resting on the carved stone edge. A single figure stood in the dust below. No armor, no backup unit, no visible weapon beyond a battered long blade strapped across his back. Just a man, alone, standing at the mouth of the canyon as if he had been waiting for this fight his entire life. "His name?" Vaela asked. "Cale Dorn," said her intelligence officer, Sarah, scanning from a data console near the balcony door. "Human. Former Frontier Corps soldier. Dishonorably discharged 3 years ago. No current military affiliation. He was a prisoner in the lower cells, apparently. He broke out when the Drevok breached the eastern gate." "He broke out of a Tharen prison cell," Vaela repeated slowly, as if tasting the words. "Yes, my princess." Below, the first wave of Drevok reached Cale. There were 40 of them, maybe more. They came screaming, plasma blades raised, kinetic shields flickering under the desert heat. Cale did not run. He drew his blade. What happened next silenced everyone on the balcony. He moved like something that had studied death and made peace with it. The first attacker's blade was redirected. Cale stepped inside the arc, turned his wrist, and the plasma blade buried itself in its owner's side. Cale was already moving. He rolled low beneath the second strike, came up inside the third attacker's guard, and drove his elbow into the warrior's throat. The fourth came from behind. Cale somehow already knew. He ducked, let the blade pass over his head, and swept the attacker's legs with a single motion so clean it looked rehearsed. "He has no tactical enhancement implants," Carix said, staring. "No strength augmentation. No predictive combat system. He is doing this with his body alone." Vaela said nothing. She watched. The second wave hit. 60 warriors. Cale backed against the canyon wall, using the rock face to eliminate his blind spots. He fought without wasted motion. Every strike was a decision. Every block was a counter. He was bleeding, a deep cut along his arm, another across his jaw, but he did not slow down. He fought as if pain were simply information. By the time the second wave broke and scattered, There were more Drevok on the ground than standing. "My princess," Sarah whispered. "He is holding the entire eastern flank. Alone." Our garrison had already retreated from that position. Vaela gripped the railing. Beneath her composed face, something rare was happening. She was surprised. Genuinely, completely surprised. She had commanded armies across 7 star systems. She had seen genetically modified supersoldiers, ancient war constructs, creatures engineered in laboratories to be living weapons. She had never, not once, seen a single unaugmented human hold a battle line by himself. The third wave came, and this time Kale was slower. The blood loss was showing. His movements were still precise, but there was a weight to them now, a grinding determination where there had been fluid grace. "He's going to fall," Carix said flatly. "He cannot sustain this." "Then send a unit to his position," Vaela ordered. The entire balcony went silent. "My princess," Carrick said carefully. "He is a prisoner. A human. We do not typically." "He is the reason your eastern flank still exists," Vaela said quietly. "Send the unit." Carrick obeyed. As the Rin warriors finally flooded the canyon floor to reinforce the position, the Drevok assault broke. They had not expected organized resistance. They had certainly not expected one impossible man. When the dust settled, Vaela left the balcony and walked through the fortress without a word to her guards. She descended 3 levels. She walked through the garrison hall, through the medical ward where the wounded lay, and into the eastern courtyard, where Kale Dorn sat against a stone pillar, a medic pressing cloth against the wound on his arm. He looked up at her. His expression was not awe or reverence. It was simply exhausted. Vaela studied him for a long moment. The sounds of the battle's aftermath drifted through the air. Finally, she spoke. "You had no reason to hold that position," she said. "You are a prisoner here. You could have run." Kale looked at the blood on his hands, then at her. "I know," he said. "Then why?" He was quiet for a moment. Then, simply, because no one else was going to. Vaela was silent for 3 full seconds. Then she turned to Carix, who stood behind her at respectful distance. "Remove his prisoner classification," she said. "Effective immediately." Carix blinked. "My princess." "He didn't fight for my empire today," Vaela said, walking away. "He fought for something bigger than that. And that is the only kind of soldier worth keeping." She did not look back, but for the first time in years she smiled.